You guys should be able to see me in there.
Yep.
So red, orange, and yellow guy. So Emma, I know that you haven't seen this before. Yeah, special. I'll do the joke again. Bob knows it. It works. It means I'm the hottest thing inside the video right now. So that's why I'm red, orange, and yellow. Yep, it works. Somebody grinned and chuckled. Quinn's got a grin on her face.
You're trending.
I know. Again, bridal parties. It kills every time. Every time. Haven't had one since the last time I saw you guys, but that's surprising. But we're looking for blue and black out of this guy. So the blue and black are the coldest areas. We're looking for a head, shoulders, moving arms, and legs. So that's what you're going to be hopefully finding tonight. Again, we don't capture one of those every single night. I get maybe 4 to 5 of those a year where I can say we have a stamp of approval that this is something paranormal. It's also got a blue dot bouncing around the screen. So that's showing you the coldest spot in the frame at that moment when you guys are watching your video. I'm looking for 15 plus degree temperature drops for us tonight. I want to say I wrote down that it was 51 degrees, so that means we're looking for 36 degrees and colder. So yeah, the English guy can do math. Look at that, really quick. So that's why that blue dot is there. Your start and stop button is right here. The average for this location is between 18 to 22. Let me put that in reference to things around your home so you know what you guys is looking at. Your TV set gives off about a 40 to 60 milligauss if you were to put that behind your TV set. Okay, so if she was standing next to a microwave and it's heating up her food or a cup of coffee, it's going to read about 150 to 170. Average for this location is between 18 to 22. I normally see that 5 out of 7 nights a week. That is a strange anomaly because this place has no electricity. You're going to see some lights around the edges of the wall here. They are solar panels, do not give off any EMF. Last night was astronomical. It just stayed high all night, the entire time that we were here. So it was in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. So you can go back and look at those readings. It was crazy, and he had a lot of them. So it's kind of a weird thing. So I just kind of like to point that out. The highest EMF I've ever had in my 14 years of ghost hunting has been at this location, 214 milligauss. We left. That is too much electricity for the guy with seizures. So you guys are getting the point. It's not safe. I always have an EMF meter out no matter what, particularly that one because it measures in digital format. So where the heck are you? You're in a parking lot. Congrats, guys, you made it. So this place used to be something. Keep in mind we do have vehicles in here, so obviously unless it's your own vehicle, be sure not to film them. You can see how long he's been parked here, by the way, Tim, by holding it right against the engine. So just be mindful if people are going to their cars, just point your cameras in the opposite direction. But this place used to be the Charles and Eliza Pinckney mansion site. So their mansion sat in the front of the space, right where those 2 SUVs, and it looks like a minivan up there, are parked. Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant and came all the way across to where we're standing. And back here, this is where the servant and slave quarters were for the home. So that's the layout of the land when you guys are exploring. Let's kind of go through the history of the space. First off, communication device people, this is where I start withholding information on purpose. I'm not going to be giving you questions like what color was George Washington's white horse, like what we did over there with the big red barn. Okay, so kind of keep that in mind. Now, who the heck were Charles and Eliza? They had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Chucks. That's why we look for those secondary clues. I need to know which Charles it is so I know how to address them. So, the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. That's a big deal for us, but I hate politics, and Quinn and Emma don't want to talk about politics either. So I can already see it on their faces, like, oh, it's one of them Taurs. No, we're not going to be doing that. We're going to talk about Eliza. She has a much better history. Eliza marries Charles at a young age according to today's standards. I say it like that because if you two ask her how old she was, do not expect numbers from the colonial times of when women got married, which was like 12 and 14. So, yeah, you would have been married at this point. Yeah, I know, right? Married off. Dad would have married you off for a horse or a donkey or something. Yep, that's kind of how things went down. But anyway, think of today's standards because her husband was over double her age. So it was a creepy age gap then, a creepy age gap now. So with that said, let's talk about Eliza and why she married him. Her father's over in England, and he thinks he's dying. He's trying to bring all of his children home one last time so he can see them. Eliza did not believe he was dying, so she stayed put and got married. It's 1744. You don't get married in that year to get a green card. We are not a country yet. So she did marry Charles out of love. This is a true love story. This is nothing horrific like your TV shows. Now, back to Eliza. She was right. Dad did not die right away. Instead, he starts sending her gifts from England to where you're standing. One of those gifts happened to be the plant seeds of indigo. That is a plant that makes blue dye that makes her blue jeans blue. You're doing it right now because that's how we use it. But when Eliza got her seeds, she didn't know what to do with them. She had to learn from her servants and slaves how to keep it going. It's obviously not warm here all the time. I'm wearing heated gloves. So then she learned how to make the dye once she learned from her slaves how to keep it going, and then moved it down by the Stone River, cash crop. Called her father up, basically sent a letter overseas and said, rice plantations are going downhill. We're going to make a killing with the indigo. And now we have an international businesswoman during colonial times, something absolutely unheard of. So this is a celebratory place. So let's kind of get into the weird stuff, because I've already told you her boring stuff. The weird stuff is why you guys are here. Quinn's like, yeah, throw it at me. So because you've never done this before, we're going to kind of test to kind of see how this goes. So first set of questions I'm going to give you is going to be based on the mansion's not here unless you can see it and the rest of us can't. You're going to be asking what happened to the mansion. If you get the what, we will normally get 2 or 3 answers of the date, so the when. So if you say, hey, what happened to the mansion? And then you say, when did that happen? Hopefully somebody is going to get the numbers of that date, because that's how this works. You might ask a question, but the answers can go anywhere. It can go to one of the 2 cameras, audio, because they're both recording audio, my voice recorder, or Emma's spirit box. Not to mention, we have a little Ouija board that we're using tonight too, so a short answer might go there. So you're going to stick to the Pinckney Mansion fire. I just gave her the damn answer, didn't I? So, all right, so it was a fire. So now you can ask, when did that occur? So let's go after that. You're also going to, let's kind of go after, let's keep it simple. I want you to go after how many children Eliza had. Do not ask any other questions further about the children. There's a tragedy there. I'll talk about that before we leave, but let's see if you can get the direct number. Sorry, I don't normally slip up the answers. I think that's the first time ever I've ever done that, where I've actually slipped out an answer. So I know it's a fire. Emma, with yours, you're going to focus on Eliza's death. 4 major questions that we get about her: how old she was when she died, where she's buried, what she died from, which president was a pallbearer at her funeral.
Okay.
So 4 majors. Anything else that you ask about her death, just be respectful. Make sure it's not a yes/no question. That's the only other thing. Same thing with you guys. If you want to ask real questions, just make sure it's respectful. This is a place of respect. So just kind of keep that in mind. We'll do probably 1 to 2 round robins to kind of see what's going on, based mainly on EMF and what the 2 of you are hearing. The 2 cameras, you're basically videographers at this point. I may not follow up with you in real time, but I definitely watch your videos in detail when I get back to the office. I think that about covers it. I'm going to show you how to reset that so everybody else can kind of spread out. Just be mindful of the vehicles in here. I'll be with everybody in just a minute. Bob's like, I'm going to go fill my truck. I love it. All right, so.
All right.
What I did back
When
there was
did the fire happen, Eliza?
Eliza's a very pretty name. I know an Eliza. So Eliza, I heard you have kids. How many do you have?
That way?
I heard this was your garden area for your mansion. That's super cool. Was it when did it burn down? I heard it was a fire and I heard it was tragic. I'm very sorry about that. I also heard you were a businesswoman of sorts. That's super, super cool. Heard a lot about Indigo on this trip. I know you were really invested in it. It's good to hear. Good to hear. Did you have anything that you really like to grow in your garden, or? I know my voice is pretty annoying, so if you want to talk, go ahead. I got a little radio thingy. Might not be working, might not be able to hear you, but that's so cool, you know?
Turn up the volume.
I did, and it turned off. Kim.
Just the wheel.
I need to see the wheel. I can't see it at all.
Gotcha.
Huh. Oh, there you go. It was off. The volume was off. So, Eliza, I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to ask all my questions again. But, you know, heard you were like a gardener of sorts. Super cool, super businessy. I love that for you. You sound very, very interesting. I'm a big fan of you. And your name is beautiful, so I know we're standing kind of where your mansion used to be. And I heard about what happened. The fire sounds super tragic. So if there was anything happened, like when did that happen? You know. So I know it was very important back in your time to have children, and it's still very important. I'm someone's daughter, and I hope to have kids one day. How many kids did you have? How many girls did you have? How many boys did you have?
Try being more forceful. Maybe she's not friendly.
Huh?
Maybe she's not so friendly. Try being forceful.
I'm gonna try to respect you, woman, but I know in this time you had to talk if you were spoken to, so I am speaking, and I am aware I'm a child and a woman myself, but you know, I'd be looking at possible suitors about my age, so getting up to woman, girl talk, girl to girl, I can walk away from the guy if you want, he's not more, plus he can't keep it, so. It's cool, maybe you want to do a little get to know me. What's your favorite color? I can get myself. Indigo is really pretty too. It made it into the rainbow. Red, orange, yellow, green. Indigo, violet. I know you grew that, and I think I'm in your garden right now, right? That's super cool. Yeah, what's up with the garden? Is there anything you'd like to grow? Or big fan of? Anything at all? Or you're just kind of letting the slaves do all the work? Because I totally get that too. You know, let's just go on a little walk around the property. You have kids, I know that. Anything interesting about that? Very good at this.
It's okay.
She doesn't want to talk to me.
Well, maybe she's talking to somebody else.
How we doing?
She doesn't want to talk to me. I don't know, man.
So, just like I was telling Emma, it's going to be the silly things that you hear. So you're hearing the song lyrics and DJs, right?
I'm just hearing static.
You're sweeping. You're not sweeping. You hit something because it went into your pocket. That's
My
okay.
bad.
You're okay. How about now?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you a few minutes. So sometimes when you guys hit those buttons, it'll stop the recording, and it'll stop the sweeping. I want it to look like a radio tuner from a car, like how Dad's looking for a station to listen to. Like, yeah, exactly. That's what you want it to do all night long. Anything crazy going on with the cam?
Temperature drop over here in the corner.
How cold?
20s and 30s.
Oh. Did you go close to it? Like where you thought
I
it might
did.
be?
I actually found a tin can which got down to the teens.
Okay. So from a distance, it's going to look like it's from the 20s. So you'll get a more accurate reading the closer you get to it.
It's right around here.
See 10 right here.
Yep.
So this guy?
Yeah, that guy got down to teens. He was
Yeah.
definitely the cold spot.
Yeah, metal will always like draw
Yeah,
on
he's
the
at-
opposite extreme.
18, yeah.
So in this location, when I'm watching this part of the film, I usually look at the wall because it will hang on to the day's heat, but unfortunately the ground in here is gravel, it's mud, it's concrete, so it's going to be different fluctuating temperatures. So you have almost a steady orange all the way around on the walls, so if I see a blue dot moving around, then I know we definitely have something going.
Okay.
That's why, like, when I'm watching this video, it's normally at the walls. The ground is hard to kind of keep track of because of the, we get the debris, the trash, metal cans, and in the summertime, that would have been in the extreme probably by about 8 to 12 degrees from the day's sun because it hung on to it. So it's weird. Study thermodynamics long enough, you start to learn a few things. So
I'll sweep the walls.
he's like, I got this.
I'll sweep the walls.
So what do you do for a living?
Private equity and private credit,
Okay.
which is just boring finance stuff,
Like I say, numbers guy.
more or less. More or less. I don't know how we found you. I'm glad we did.
Yeah, this is not a cheesy, campy ghost tour. Like, I don't like
Didn't
those
want
either.
that.
Yeah.
Didn't
Most
want that.
people don't. And then once they're done with them, they're like, what the hell did we just do?
Well, I'm traveling with a teenager. I gotta do something that's
Yeah.
interesting. That's gonna she's gonna remember and want to keep doing.
Well, I don't want you to remember it. You can re-listen to it again. It's a memory. Creating memories with ghosts, buddy. That's what I'm doing out
She's
here.
got a twin brother.
Oh,
He'd never do this.
really?
No chance.
Why not?
Just wouldn't. He wouldn't.
Not
buy
into it, or is he scared?
He wouldn't buy into it.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
he
that's
thinks-
okay.
Which is okay, but I've tried to tell him that these things are real. No.
I convert more skeptics than
Yeah?
oh, yeah. I have a pretty good conversion rate.
I should bring him down.
What you have to remember, by the end of our night, I'm going to show you that ghost hunting isn't scary. Like, we're talking about a plantation owner that had a happy ending of her life.
They're not like a threat to us.
No, not at all.
No, they're stuck and they want
They
to tell
can
a story.
be, but not, it's a 99% chance that it's not a TV show bullshit thing that they're showing you.
Those are weird.
Yeah.
I don't buy into those.
No.
Entertaining.
They're fun to
Yes.
watch, yes.
Yes.
The methods, yes, I watch them for that. New devices that are coming into the market, yes, I have to pay attention to that because that's what you guys want to use. So I have to keep innovating. I have a whole bag at home and another box of gear I don't use on the tour anymore. I've only been doing this for 4 years. I've rotated
Really?
the equipment that much.
It updates that much.
There's enough out there,
Just gets better and better. And
better, new
Technology,
feature, or it doesn't work out in the outdoors. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Like REM pods. I'm not going to bring REM pods out here. That's a motion sensor. Where the hell are we going to put them? We go from space to space. So, and if a car comes through here, we got to hurry up and pick up our damn REM pods. I don't want a $200 REM pod getting crushed by a truck. You getting my point? I mean, this stuff's not cheap.
Notice you've been to Tribeca to see the headquarters?
No, I have not. Sorry, I had to remember what hat I had on because I have a stack of these and they all have a different button based on,
okay.
like I have a lot of like Nevermore because I'm a writer.
Nice.
But yeah, I have a Ukrainian one with one that has like camo on the back and stuff like that. Like I have a stack of these. My wife gets me like 3 of them every year. So
I just happened to be in Tribeca a few weeks ago and I saw the Ghostbusters headquarters for the
how was
first
it?
time.
Was it cool?
You know, it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
It's pretty cool.
I'm down for that. It was just funny. My daughter, I was telling them like she's home from Myrtle Beach and she gets excited because she's open to talk about the paranormal stuff when she's at Dad's house. It's not always a welcome thing back at Mom's.
See that?
So it's one of the first things she does. And of course she's 17 years old. She's like, can I watch a Scooby-Doo movie? She's like, I know I'm a little old for that shit. I'm like, I don't care. Put Scooby-Doo on. But it was the Scooby-Doo movie. She's like, I just know it's going to, because I have dogs, it's going to make my one dog bark at the TV almost the whole time.
If he likes.
Well, no, he's very protective. So if there's another animal in the house, he's going to freak out. So, yeah, that's what
cool.
they were watching when I left the house with Scooby-Doo. I'm like, I should really like go against like go for the Mystery Inc. versus the Ghostbuster guy. Because I really do have the mentality of the, we're going to find out and debunk a lot of things first before we call it a ghost. That's
cool.
really what Scooby-Doo's about, right?
Yes.
So
100%.
instead of like, we're going to bust some nasty ghosts.
We're going to find
like,
ghosts and you're going to be
Get
entertained.
some Scooby-Doo shit there.
Consistent. Lights. Motion lights. No. Just want me to check the walls.
I've been walking past here.
For the motion lights.
So,
Liza.
It's Eliza.
Liza.
I'm here with my father. I know you had a very prominent father figure in your life.
Hey, lady.
And he's gonna be respectful, I think, maybe.
Mostly.
And I know that, you also had a husband.
She
What
married
was-
for love.
What was your husband's name? I don't know if you were Scottish or what your country of origin is, but I heard some bagpipes. I don't know if that was you or.
Put some bagpipes, eh?
Yeah. Just the radio, jamming around. I think we might have to gather. But let me know if you said anything. Chatterbox secretly. I think you're really swell. I think you're grand. Tomatoes and chicken.
Tomatoes and chicken.
Did you grow tomatoes here at the farm? 'Cause I know you grew indigo. I'm good. Oh, that's a little chilly. Is it? Alone? Are you alone right now? Where's that? Okay.
You got anything else on there?
Gummy bear song.
What was the lyric? Gummy bear?
Yeah.
Okay, we're not writing that one down. Go ahead and stop your video. Give your hand to break. Come through. Just point it down.
All right.
But we're here normally about 10 minutes earlier than what we normally are. So again, between that average. So again, they'll arrive early, and then what time? Like, well, shit, what time is it? We are on the early side. But I felt like you guys were getting the gist of the equipment quite early, so that's why we kind of moved on, and why we're probably here a few minutes early. Again, I don't time anything. We just go. We could be out here till 3 o'clock in the morning. So this place is, I was looking to take it out, but I think I'm going to end up keeping it in. Every year I take out one spot, add a new one, like I said. This was the spot I was going to take out because every ghost tour comes down here. And I think I'm going to leave it in just because the new space requires pretty quiet space for that location, and it doesn't normally happen on Fridays and Saturdays. So I figure on Fridays and Saturdays we won't do it unless I feel like the city is quiet like it is tonight. So I do have to pay attention to those things. You guys will see why once we get to that space. We need complete silence. It is a weird thing that we're going to be doing. But the last location was something I was looking to take out last year because I was getting disrespectful ghost hunters on your end, and they were kind of showing up like, "Come on, Eliza," and then they go take a leak in the corner, kind of disrespecting the space. So I was getting nasty messages on the spirit boxes. So I decided to give them a break and just go back every night now, and I tell them all of your names every single night. And I always tell Eliza how many people I'm bringing, and I know all of your names already ahead of time, most of the time. So I just tell her, we have Tim and a guest. I already knew what her name was, but you guys get my point.
Yeah.
I just out of respect, still will tell her every single night before I meet with you guys. Just, you guys get my point. But this space used to be what we call Dueler's Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. So when you said blame, I was like, that kind of makes sense because we're about to talk about a duel. Somebody was blaming somebody for something. So it's very vague. I'm not going to count it as paranormal anything, but I could see where it could tie in. So let's kind of get into why we're here. What we're going to be doing is we're going to stir some things up, and then we're going to go to the next location. I'll tell you another piece of history over there, and then hopefully you're going to get the bleed over from this space as well. So we do have somebody that's going to be cutting through us, so you may want to just lower your cameras. You can just lower it right to the ground. We all completely understand. People get really weirded out about it. I know I have like full rights to do anything out here with cameras, but people get really weird. Trust me, it wouldn't be the first or last time I'll be yelled at for filming other people. So Sarah, you're going to be looking for the letters R-I in here, specifically in that order. So here's how this goes. This is Philadelphia Alley now, Dueler's Alley then. Here's why it's called Dueler's Alley. There's lots of duels in Charleston, but they also had to have hiding spots all over town. So this is only where some of the duels used to occur for the city. So it was kind of a hiding spot. Doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. That's part of your RI. So we're getting the letters RI all the time on regular spirit boxes. That's very significant to something else in the story. I'm going to get to that in just a minute and explain further. But his name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. The two of you hear the song Brown Eyed Girl while we're here. It is not coincidence. We get it all the time. It's part of his name. You guys are hopefully getting the point. Dr. Ladd moves here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a lot of money from her dead parents. She has an attorney helping her out with all the cash that she just received, and the attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. So he tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor. Dr. Ladd moves to Charleston from Rhode Island to prove that he's not after Amanda's money. He's going to start his medical practice down here. On his way into town, his coachman set him up to be robbed and killed. It was like having a bad Uber driver. He dropped him off, and there's a gunman inside waiting to kill the guy for his money. So, somebody was walking by. His name was Ralph Isaacs. Remember the initials I just told you?
R.I.
Exactly. So, exactly why I even have that device, because I was getting that RI all the time. I wanted to make sure with a specific letter device, which is why we have the digital Ouija board. So, Ralph tells the doctor, I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me. We're going to go to 59 Church Street. I have friends there. They'll rent you a room. You'll be safe. Good to go. The number 59 shows up here all the time, too, just so you guys have that idea. So Doc took him up on the offer, and they became friends. Now, the longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. He's proving his point that he's not after Amanda's money. He is, making his own, and he wants to marry her. She gets wind that he's making his own money. She's coming down so they can be married, and Dr. Ladd became known as the Whistling Doctor. Every haunted city you're going to visit in the future is going to have a cliched whistling ghost, which is another reason I was going to take this out of my route, because I don't like cliches, right? And ours just happens to be a doctor. But we still get a crap ton of evidence from this guy, so I hate to take him out. So we're going to leave him in, at least for most of the week. But anyway, back to Dr. Ladd. Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together. They cannot sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. He gets better seats at these plays. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. That's kind of how it goes. So one night they go see Richard III from Shakespeare, and they're arguing on the way home about the actress that they just saw. They'd never seen her before, and Dr. Ladd thought she was great, and Ralph didn't. They start arguing, but then Ralph starts insulting the doctor's fiancée back home in Rhode Island. It got really ugly, and they went their separate ways. Ralph has friends around town. He goes to his friends at the newspaper and places an ad, and basically tells them, I want to tell the whole city what I think of Dr. Ladd. Kind of a you're a disgrace to society kind of mentality. Dr. Ladd saw the ad in the paper, but rebutted with, let's go to Dueler's Alley. Somebody's going to die. Keep in mind, this whole argument started over an actress. The two men came down, back to back, took their 10 paces, turned, the doctor pointed his gun in the air, and he shot. He did not want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage and bravery to show up to the fight, which is often what happened at a duel, but Ralph has his one bullet in his flintlock. He puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. So, I have had people hear the song Hands on My Knees, thinking it was a joke, and they were singing along. I'm like, that's actually relevant to where we're going. So you guys are getting the point of the song lyrics. But anyway, he fell to the ground, his friends picked him up, and they took him to 59 Church Street back home, where he died 10 days later, November 2nd, 1786, after refusing medical treatment. I'm going to point out two things. It's 1786. Gunshot wounds back then are a lot different than what we know of them now. Secondly, he was a doctor. He probably just thought he had lead poisoning and tried to bleed it out himself, but he failed. Every ghost tour is going to tell you to listen for the whistles as we're down here. We have 2 video cameras plus my voice recorder recording audio right now. It's usually pretty quiet aside from that one air conditioner or furnace that's running in this alley. So even on a busy Saturday afternoon, it's pretty quiet. If we're going to get a whistle, it's normally going to come from a regular audio piece like the video cameras on my voice recorder, but I can't tell you how many times we've had the whistling part of a song and then the word doctor from a commercial show up, like a doctor. We get it all the time. So dozens of times, because I've been coming here for over 4 years now. It's a crazy coincidence. So I can't call it coincidence because it's happened that many times. So if you're going to try this on your own and walk all the way through here with your voice recorders and try to capture the whistles from your phone, listen to it later, just keep in mind all the locals know the story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland Street or Queen Street throws a whistle down the alley. I used to do it every single morning when I was done with your data because my garage was over here, but my office is that way. So I had to pass the alley to get to my car in the morning. I used to always throw a whistle, especially since I got thrown out of here. Let's talk about that because that's the fun part of why we're here. So, and it was like, oh yay, somebody else gets in trouble. See that little smirk on your face. The alley didn't go all the way through the way we came in. There used to be a wall up there, about halfway between us and Cumberland Street, which is exactly why they could stop right here. The reason why is because this is where they kept the livestock for the city of Charleston. I know we had the word chicken earlier, but the again, a little too far away for this reference. So they did keep cows and chickens down here, but that means that the bricks down at the other side are older than the bricks you're standing on. Those bricks down there are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child down there, and fingerprint swipes and others. I used to take my groups all the way down there for a history lesson, nothing paranormal about it, simply because I treat that brick with the handprint the same way I do a grave. That's the last place you're going to find that kid. However, November 26th, 2020, entire group of 10 huddled around that brick, waiting for something to happen with the gear that I hand out. Nothing's going to happen. I'm also trying to shoot them along out of respect for the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. We were outside that man's dining room window, and he was pretty angry. He came out screaming. My daughter thought it was great, because she was probably about your age, and her dad's getting yelled at. She thought it was awesome. So, next day was Thanksgiving, because we just moved on and got away from it. I don't work on Thanksgiving because I worked in retail management for Walmart for long periods of time, upper management, and you guys like to fight over towels, and I've been scarred for life on Thanksgiving, so thank you for that. I will never work Thanksgiving again. So, the next day was the 28th. I called my partner that I had at the time, and I told him what happened with the very angry neighbor that we had, and he laughed at me just like my daughter, and basically said, you're only allowed to go down halfway, dude. That's the cutoff point for tours. So, you're going to have to reroute your group. I told my group that night, I don't believe in the next story. I'm sold out again, because it's Black Friday. Again, it's just how the weekends work for me. Told him the next story is pirates. I'm a vampire guy. My apologies. I don't never had anything happen with pirates. We'll see what goes on. Before we left, somebody with a spirit box heard the name Anne. I didn't tell them which pirate. The famous female pirate, Anne Bonny, is who we're looking into next. So I was kind of like, okay, go up around the corner, tell them a little bit of history on pirates. Not much, because I didn't have time to research. Somebody else with a spirit box heard the number 300. I don't know what that one means. I had to write it down, do the research. We were there November 28th of 2020, Anne Bonny's trial for piracy, November 28th of 1720, the exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial. So, yeah, kind of a creepy thought, but I was actually pissed off simply because I'm a writer. I like facts and data when I'm doing this. Pirate stories come from pirate lore that was written 100 years after the Golden Age of piracy. It is very hard to find facts and data about pirates, which means you just have to read more and more and more about pirates, watch more documentaries, play more video games. You guys are getting the point. I've read more books on pirates than I ever wanted to in my entire life, trying to make sure our 15 minutes of fame over there is going to be legit. So when we get over there, I'll give you the history of that space. Hopefully you're going to get bleed over from Dr. Ladd as well. You guys can keep your videos running if you want to, but I also like to point out the gate. Did I do the gate the last time you guys were on the route? No, sometimes I forget.
I don't think so last time.
The gate, in a nutshell, remember I told you that the alley didn't go all the way through this way? Mm-hmm. If there was a loser to the duel down here, this was the shortcut to get to the cemetery that's behind this wall. So, in other words, they'd have to carry the dead body all the way down the Queen Street and double back if this gate wasn't here. So the wrought iron itself was probably put here in the early 1900s, just so you guys have that reference as locals. But the archway is definitely original to, the alley itself. So the gate is probably made by the gentleman that actually just passed away. I think it was last year. He made a lot of the wrought iron gates that you guys see around town. So I want to say he probably just passed away a few months back. But anyway, I just like to point this out. I actually call it the Death Gate. It's just a very interesting piece of history about Charleston if you really look at the way things were built and watch the evolvement of that. Speaking of which, I forgot to get something back to my guest from last night. He wanted a map of all the different plats from the 1800s of Charleston, and I have them. I just forgot to give him the link because I was having trouble with something in their data. So sorry, I'm just thinking out loud. That's what I do. I'm like that quirky guy from the Emperor's New Clothes who just counts money and little things go off. Yeah, that's me all the time. So, any other major questions about dueling? Hopefully we're going to get more about Dr. Ladd. Did we hear anything? Do we have any numbers, letters? Talk to me before we exit the space.
No.
What do you got?
I had, when you were talking about the bricks and the, just kind of the walkway, I had RUT, R-U-T.
Okay, so it's something spelled out.
Yeah.
If it spells out anything, 3 letters or more, I always write it down. Just because, again, it might be something. At this point, I don't know what it's going to be.
I've got wax, too, which I think is just probably random.
No. We've had the word wax
Really?
at the other site where we're going before, which is weird.
All right.
So, I'm sorry,
Nope. I had an it's you. That was
Was that anything specific after something I said?
Not that I remember. I should have written that down too.
Okay. Well, it was just kind of like how Mom remembered the word rut when I was talking about the bricks. So it kind of like stuck out. So if it doesn't stick out to you, well, it doesn't mean anything, but we still heard something. So again, we never know what's going to be accounted for. Any craziness in the cameras, gentlemen?
Not really, no.
Nothing? All right, let's go learn about some rated R pirates.
You got it.
Let's definitely listen to our spirit box.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
I love that new light, by the way. Like, it works out great. That other one was so like small and minuscule. We don't have 54. We only had 20. That one gives us 54 total.
Okay. Anything coming through?
I had cool summer a few times.
Cool summer.
That's. Oh, I should have said that. Whoops. We'll listen back.
Yeah, I get
Yeah, cruel summer like twice.
You'll be like, God damn it, Bob, just shut up.
most of the time.
Alright. Ladies, what do we got?
Journey.
Okay,
That's it.
that's it. We gotta get you better at this.
Okay.
I had Going There Right Now, Prosthetic, and 23rd.
Aesthetic.
I always like numbers. Not that I don't like Journey.
Oh, I got one, but like
One and then Journey. One Journey.
one, and then Mariah Carey and Journey.
I got some Mariah Carey too. There you
There's
go.
a lot of Mariah Carey.
'Tis the season.
And it was your Christmas song too, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All I Want for Christmas is You.
Yeah.
Because it's on every station.
Kill,
All the time.
kill me now.
So apparently, my father-in-law has a thing for Mariah Carey. So whenever this time of year comes around, all I hear is my mother-in-law bitching about Mariah Carey.
We bitch about her for another reason. This is like, can you just please turn it off?
All right. Obviously, we got cameras running, so we're good. Anything crazy going on? All right,
No,
so just so you have the idea, I am excited about a 2.5 in here because we don't always see a whole lot, if anything. Can't think of anything specific that we've had spelled out for us in here, but you will be looking for initials of A, B, or M.
Okay.
So let's get into why we're here. The building behind you guys, that is the gunpowder magazine. As you can see it now. It served in 7 different wars holding gunpowder and served 1 rebellion on top of that. So those are not crosses on the building. Those are earthquake bolts. If you're not familiar with what an earthquake bolt is, it's a turnbuckle. It goes all the way through to the other side and looks just like that. If we have another earthquake, like what we did in 1886 that I mentioned prior at the beginning of our night, you can turn the turnbuckles and it tightens up the building so it doesn't incur any further damage. Great idea, it just doesn't work. So, yeah, exactly. The only reason I point them out is because it's part of the reason why we're here. That's the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in. They're all over every other building as well. You can see them on the apartment building, the brick building behind it. But you guys have been seeing them in pineapples and lion heads and all kinds of Charleston charm bullshit. So that's kind of like what we do around here. Now, the reason why that's the first set is because that is the oldest government building in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713. That building is what I call a familiar to our guest Anne Bonny. So that building was being constructed at the same time that she was coming here to start her new life. You guys watch the TV shows, you've seen the Boo Buddy, right? That's the teddy bear with the little blinky light EMF meter in there. They use that to attract what type of ghost?
Full body apparitions.
Well, like a kid.
Yeah.
Right? So that we're trying to get in touch with a child, right? They do that because the child would recognize the teddy bear as a toy. Think of that concept of why we're here. We don't have many buildings this old, so the hope is that she's going to be here at the same time we are. So that's kind of how this goes. However, the story is very interesting, as Sarah's already kind of pointed out that Emma's really going to enjoy this one. However, she seems laser focused with her one headphone over her head. So, 1708. I will slow down on the twists, but try to follow me. There are a couple of them, but the rest of the story I try to breeze through because it can get lengthy if I stop and like, oh, well, this happened and that happened. So let's kind of get to it. 1708, young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormac. She comes here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Are you with me so far?
Yeah.
The three of them running away from her father's angry wife. How pissed was the wife that she kicked them out of the country? Right? There's no planes. It's 1708. It's by boat. They land in Georgetown. That's between us and Myrtle Beach. So Dad bought a plantation up there. Mom dies pretty quickly. That means Dad is now sending young Anne down here to Charlestown to sell things from the plantation to help keep things afloat in Georgetown. Hence the familiar building. You guys are getting the point. Back home in Ireland, they say Anne was a badass even when she was a young lady. So at the age of 7, 8, 9 years old, they say she killed a servant with a knife to the belly. So we have gotten terms, servant, knife, and belly, all from 3 different boxes. You get the point. Fast forward, the building's done in 13. By 1715, pirates are starting to come through Charlestown. Anne is pretty stoked. The reason why, she's going to fall in love with one of these guys, so that way she can earn her freedom, just like a man. It's a man's world. First guy she fell in love with. I say that slowly because I said first. There's a handful. We're going to cover them all. So, first guy is James Bonny. Right? You already know where this one's going because I've already given you her pirate name. Dad didn't approve because he's a filthy pirate. They run away to Jamaica, they got married, and Cormac became Anne Bonny. That's where the pirate name came from. However, when they get down there, she realizes that James Bonny is not the Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer. That makes him a spy for the British and a coward. This is not who she wants. She falls in love again. Guy number 2, I'm going to keep track for you. I can't get lost. Guy number 2 is John Rackham, but everybody calls him Calico Jack. This is the guy they based your Johnny Depp character off of. So in case you were wondering. Jack has his own ship, he has his own crew. Anne wants to be part of Jack's crew. You can't put a female on a pirate ship. Does anybody know why? Or remember why? It's bad luck. I get a lot of like weird looks and a lot of the, yeah, I'm not answering that question with like general. But anyway, it's bad luck. So he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and look like a crew, you can be part of the crew. She's okay with this because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Rhode Island. Wrong story, right? Back in Ireland to hide her from his wife. So she's fine with it. It's a man's world. But most of us are adults here. We can think outside the box. She is a female in Jack's quarters. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You cannot have a pregnant pirate dude on the ship. Somebody's going to figure it out, right? So he drops her off in Cuba. Have the baby here. Come back later. We'll figure it out. She goes and has the baby, but returns without a child. We have no idea what happened to the baby. None of my research in all of the pirate books I've read has ever revealed what happened because we don't know. Let's just put it out there. She also comes back dressed as a female. This makes Jack pretty pissed off. To make him even more mad, she's going to flirt with the pirate crew he just captured. They're down below deck. Guy number 3. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy to be part of the crew the Calico Jack just captured. So now we have 2 females, dressed like males, on the same ship, trying to be pirates. Her name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. Now, Mary and Anne become lovers. We're not going to really know for sure, but definitely friends. The British find out where they are. They send an entire fleet of Navy ships to come and take out one pirate ship. The rumor is that Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with 1-bullet flintlocks. They don't know how to use cannons yet. They haven't been pirates for very long. Obviously, 2 ladies with 1-bullet guns are not going to take on a whole fleet of ships. They get arrested. As they're being arrested, Anne looks at her captain in bow, Calico Jack, and she says, Jack, I'm sorry to see you here, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog. The dog shows up on your spirit boxes all the time. The judge wants to see the 2 quote-unquote men that fought back so valiantly on their own. He's already tried to hung Calico Jack and the drunk pirates that wouldn't fight. They're dead and gone. The 2 ladies go in front. They reveal their gender, hoping to save themselves. The judge does not give a damn that they are female. They are still pirates, and he's still going to hang them. We plead our bellies was the last thing they shouted to him because you cannot hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. He sends them both back to jail and delays their hanging. Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne and brings her home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4, because we're going to count Mary. We don't really know. She has 4 kids, dies at the age of 84. Very abrupt, because we don't know jack shit about her that's true after her pirate career. Mary Reed died 5 months later in April of 1721 from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. Use your imagination. Most books are going to tell you that it was something simple like fever. I'm going to say make it romantic and call it scurvy. Why not? Here's what I left out of the story. I'm not going to assign questions here because you can ask whatever you want to. This is not the prominent Englishwoman of where I'm trying to control the situation. Again, that's more of a respectful place. Kick Anne in the shins to try to get these answers if you have to, but here's a couple of things that I did leave out. I left out the names of her parents. That's the father and the mistress. So just kind of keep that in mind. The name of the city where she grew up in Ireland, if you want to ask that question, and the name of Calico Jack's ship that she joined. Everything else is fair game, again, but those are some of the common things that I'll normally throw out there, and I also left out on purpose and not revealing answers like I did earlier at the Pinkley Mansion site. Again, first time in 4 years. Good job,
Talent.
Quinn. I know, right? She like drew it right out of me too. Like I was like, I normally don't tell. Like, why am I saying fire right now? So I was just blinking in my head. So again, largest orb I've ever caught has been caught at this location near that wall, Bob, just so you have that idea. Tim, with your camera, it will act up from time to time. About once or twice a year, it'll look like snow from an old tube TV, and then whoever you're filming, their device will stop working. I've had it happen at least two times each year that I've been doing this.
Okay.
So, very weird occurrence. Hasn't happened about 7 months now since we've had one of those. It's
we're
been a
due.
while. Who knows? But yeah, let's spread out. Let's have some fun. Let's do this.
Before you talked about the pirate lady and all her husbands, I heard 3 to 4. So like
I like it.
3 men, one woman, so 4.
So 3 to 4.
3 to 4. By the way,
We can just call them all lovers at this point. And
I like it.
That would make sense.
Homewrecker.
no. What about your little your horrible father sending you a little girl off to be on your own? Yeah. So you were a pirate. That's cool.
Ask about Ireland. Your dad's Irish.
You little. I heard you got around. Got chlamydia?
What? Nobody said that.
I said, did you got chlamydia?
Talk about Ireland. Your dad's Irish.
Oh yeah, my dad's Irish. My name's Quinn. It's Irish. My last name's Ruxton.
Where'd you grow up?
Surname Irish. I'm an Irish.
We're from County Cork.
We're from what?
County Cork.
We're from County Cork. What about you? $50. Remind me that I said 50. Yeah, we're County Cork. Clark?
Cork.
County Cork. I knew it. Second try. Older. How old were you when you were hanged?
I'm not selling at this point.
I'm just telling you. So, you know,
Wants to sit around.
so, but that was,
Good solid tree. Smells like pot. Did you smoke any of the old smoke a joint? Roll anything?
Roll anything?
Do you smell that too?
Yeah, somebody over there.
I heard open your eyes, so remember that for me.
50 and open your eyes.
Uh-huh. I got a lot over there.
Where?
There. Then she went quiet over there.
Let's go over here.
That chick is over there.
That's all right.
I tried antagonizing her. She doesn't like that. I'm back over here. Probably run away, because, you know. I'm trying to reason with you, Anne.
Try to be likable.
Huh?
Be likable.
You're respectful, young woman. Biggest break.
$50 and what was the other one? $50 and what was the other one?
Open your eyes.
Open your
I just heard biggest gripe.
biggest gripe.
That's like pirate talk, right?
Nope.
So were you a ginger? You were an Irish, so you were ginger. But hey, I'm Irish too. And I'm a blonde. Help me out? I heard a help me out.
Yeah, talk to her like it's the 1700s. She has no idea what you're saying.
Arrgh. Let's go down to the tavern and have a Guinness. Right? Yeah. I'm gonna give her advice.
Why did you become a pirate?
Well, I know why she became a pirate.
Why? For money?
She married a pirate.
She love him?
She did until he was a spy. I think spies are pretty lame too. Spies are so hard. I'm not a big fan of British. Pretty excited. I did. That's my story, Tina. Were you cold often on sea? I get cold when I walk by.
she likes to shoot about that.
Not really.
You done? You good?
Yeah, no, I'm not getting much here. Go to the group.
Huh?
You tell them what you heard?
Yeah. I wrote it down, which is so smart of me.
Right. See, that's kind of what I thought too. Because you're like, you know, could it be something, or is this just my like tree?
Check these trees.
Right. Yeah. Yes. So I had love too. Right.
It's kind of a weird thing. Tim, you've been pretty quiet this session. You doing all right?
I'm good.
Good.
Looking
All
for.
right, so we're gonna regroup, just to kind of. We have something else going on, I think. Quinn, do you have anything else?
No.
Okay.
No?
All right, so let's kind of regroup. This one's always a hit or miss. We never really know until we really look at it.
Can you hear this
No.
at all?
No,
It
it's
is
in your ear.
so freaking loud.
It's in your things.
Like, I always see the shows and, like, the one guy always, ah.
Yeah, that's you've got
Shane?
headphones on.
You know, he always, ah, because it's all the radio, like,
You know how headphones work, right?
kinda. Did I show you the picture of my headphones? It was really sad.
You did.
Oh, you did?
So I'm going to point out a couple of things before I give you the answers to the Anne Bonny bit. So Quinn, at the beginning, right before we separated, you gave us 3 to 4, right? That was kind of the phrase you gave me. As I was writing it down, I looked at it, and maybe it was 3-2-4, as in March 24th, or March of 1724, something along those lines. But I'm just kind of giving you the gist of how I actually look at this as kind of like a whole. So we did get LUV that was spelled out on the Ouija board device, and you know, she's like, it's probably text language or whatever. I'm like, talking about women in the early 1700s that probably didn't know how to read and write, and is probably just trying to sound it out. So I am going to write down LUV just as kind of it is going to be not counted as anything, but just as a perspective, so you guys know how to look at your guys' stuff when you get it back. So we did get beg and lip. I am excited about anything that thing spells out. So I am excited that we actually have kind of 3 terms out of there: love, beg, and lip. Sounds kind of dirty, but again, we got it all in there. So,
Progress.
we are talking
pirate.
pirates, right? So I'm going to explain the next phase of what we're going to be doing, and then the last spot, which is the Estes method. Are you, anybody else here, familiar with the Estes method between the two of you, or Emma?
No.
Blindfolds?
Yeah.
Okay.
Blindfold.
Yeah, do you guys watch the TV shows?
I watch them. He doesn't.
Okay, so who are you watching, by the way?
BuzzFeed Unsolved a lot.
Okay,
That one's funny.
that's Sam Colby.
Sam and Colby sometimes. Yeah, I
Okay,
like them.
So Sam and Colby often will blindfold themselves and listen to a spirit box.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's called the Estes method. So we are going to be doing that at our last stop. So I've actually added something to it. It's like I didn't do it, but we're going to be adding it as a, how do I put this? It's meant to be all on one person, but we separate it into two people to kind of keep everybody safe because it can be very sensory overload. So one person will be going through the Estes method. So I'm going to choose Emma. No offense, but she's actually done a little bit better than you as far as listening in. So again, I'm not afraid
Cool.
to say it.
Yep.
That's why I kind of like, all right, what are you hearing? We need to get you better, so I can kind of see who's going to go under. So I'm going to give her a blindfold, and she's obviously going to be listening to her spirit box, and she's not going to know the history of where we're at. So Quinn, you're going to sit next to her because you have a part in this too.
Okay.
Your part is you're going to have a virtual reality cam. My phone's going to be in there, and it's going to create artificial intelligence images. So AI imagery is going to show up based off of the EMF of what my phone is picking up. The hope here is that me and Emma will be having a conversation, and you're going to give us the supplementary pictures of what you're seeing coming out of it. We'll all be able to see those pictures like once the session is over. I'll only keep you guys under for 10 minutes because this can be a little overload for some people. But keep in mind that the artificial intelligence piece is actually meant to be on this person, all one person. So it can be too much if you don't do this on a regular basis, so we decided to separate it. So it is a lot of fun, even for the rest of us, because we're going to basically, it's either going to be really silly of what comes out of Emma's mouth, like what color is a blue banana kind of questions, if you guys get my point. But I will tell you that the imagery part of this is actually more accurate than the talking part of it. So this is about 30 to 32% accurate. This is about 40 to 45% accurate. So hopefully the images that you're going to see, about half of them will be accurate to our space and the ghost that we're hunting down. The next space that we're going to is the new space. So we'll be going, basically, you guys remember the park, Washington Park. So we're going to be on that corner, and we're going to be talking about a murder mystery, but I have a new voice recorder that we're going to be using with headphones, where you can basically hear a frog fart from 3 miles away. We've caught some EVPs with this, like true disembodied voices. So I'm actually going to kind of flip this back and forth. I'll give you guys like 5 minutes apiece, but I figured the two gentlemen, I know Bob, you kind of wanted to hear something a little bit new, and this is a new piece, so I'm going to let Bob start off with it, and then Tim will switch off a set of headphones for you. I'll just have Quinn mute her spirit box, and you'll just take her headphones, so that way they stay within the family. If you guys get my point, everything stays sanitized between families. So that's kind of how that's going to work. So I don't have all the answers to the next location, so I do listen to the, it's a Zoom recorder. You guys will see it once I set it up at the next location, but I do listen to that from start to finish so I can learn more about it. We have caught a few EVPs, like actual disembodied voices. Nobody around just like this, and we get a voice in the background as I'm saying a specific thing. I'll talk about that as we get there. It's kind of an uncanny thing. Very cool stuff though. So, sorry Sarah, you got to do the two.
That's all right.
Yeah, I think the last couple times you were under the Estes method and something else. I think you did the VR piece the one time. So anyway, let's go over the answers of why we're here. Oh, I have to cover, you did get 6 months in the word baby. I have to cover what that actually means. That's a whole nother story. This is where things can go awry, like I said, where I never know what's going to happen. Every ghost tour stops across the street. So I'm going to take a drink. You guys are making me like talk a lot.
Go for it.
So they all stop across the street, and it's their last stop because they have something to show. I don't know if you guys noticed, but there was a large group of 20 as we were crossing the street to come over here. They stop over there because there's a sign right inside that cemetery. It says there's no ghost here but the Holy Ghost. The reason why is they don't want jerks like me trying to recreate what happened over there with the cameras that I have. So here's what happened. 1888, a young lady passes away by the name of Sue Howard Hardy. What's her initials? What's that spell out? Sue Howard Hardy.
SHH.
Huh?
SHH.
It's cheesy, it's campy, but we get it all the time, especially when I have the Ouija board device out. We've had her initials show up specifically, SHH. Now, she dies 6 days. I know you had the word 6 months, but what color is a big red barn? Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. I don't need Rudolph the nosed reindeer, I just need the red. In your case, it's just the 6. She dies 6 days after her stillborn child. Very sad story. However, 1987, 99 years later, photographer's taking pictures of all of the cemeteries around town, and he captures a full apparition over Sue's grave. It's got a baby basket next to her, and it's 1987, so he doesn't have the tech to really figure out what's going on here, so he sends it off to Kodak. So, for Quinn's sake, that was a company where we used to send our pictures so we could hold them. Yeah. Sorry. Whenever I have youngins, I know I have to make that joke. And if I ask a teenager what a Kodak is, they say it's a bear. So that's the other answer that I get to. But anyway, Kodak can confirm the camera that he took the picture with, but they can't really say that the picture was altered in any way. So we don't really have full confirmation of this. I am going to show you the apparition that I caught. However, it is cursed, which is why I always wait for evidence to show up before I bring up this whole tale and begin with. It is cursed to females that handle it even in a digital format like a tablet or a phone. When I send you a link to this, it will say either this is a safe link or it is a not safe link because it will have that picture. With that said, females that handle it are said to get the same symptoms we talked about at the beginning of our night: headache, nausea, dizziness. So pregnant females are not going to have a good pregnancy based on the gist of the story. I'm not going to be the guy where somebody had a great vacation and 9 months later I cursed the family. Like, I'm not going to be that guy. So I'm going to show you the apparition. I will zoom in on it and go like person to person so you guys can all get the gist of what this looks like. If you like type in top 100 apparitions ever caught, this is usually in the top 100. Like, it's pretty compelling. So I'll start over here so you guys can see. This is the full picture that he took. Your apparition is right here. It's a woman leaned over her own grave, and there's a baby basket right next to her.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and it always happens on Sue's birthday. So there was another instance where it did occur, but it wasn't this clear. So this one was taken in 1987. Obviously, it didn't fully develop. So you can see the photo on this end. Here's the full
How
picture.
you made a picture, made a photograph to a picture.
Is it like where you shake it?
Sort of.
Oh, because those are phones.
Sort of. Like
So,
a Polaroid?
again, this is what every ghost story ends with. That's, again, I let them have it. It's their show and tell. My show and tell is in your hands. Answers to Anne Bonny. Let's kind of go over that real quick. It's super short. By the way, you can stop your camera if you haven't already. Because we're going to be walking like two and a half